Cable, who's been president for the last year and done an amazing job. And now's the time for board discussion to decide if stays president, if it has gone, if someone else wants to take it on, and then just same thing with vice president clerk as well.
Okay.
Openness to discussion.
Okay. Somebody else could be president. I'm good with I'm good with one term. I don't need to be multiple person. So, I usually like my seat right over there where Catherine's sitting right now. So, but, yeah, open it up to anybody who's interested. I'll start. I like the progression, so I'd like to nominate Tracy, take my spot.
You're gonna rotate down to the end and then we'll.
So I guess we can start with that. It's we need a motion in a second, or do we do it all at once? All at once, so. Okay. Anybody any idea for vice president?
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, are you, is Casey, you interested?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm not up for taking presidency though. I'm good with vice.
Is everybody fine with Casey being?
I'm even good with board member. I'm good. I'm good with it all. Wes.
So
Or
Tracy.
you seem awfully anxious to vacate though.
Oh, no. I had my 1 year.
Yeah, okay. You did a great job.
Thank you. Let's pass it around. Let everybody have a shot at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we'll have Tracy's president, Casey's vice president, clerk. Who's in? You happy to be Catherine? Okay. Everybody good with Catherine? And then we'll go. What's the appointment? The superintendent as secretary to, we got to appoint you as the secretary to the board. Okay. Lois. And then isn't there also the member, and then there's
There's two members.
is
Two members.
the two members, so then and Annette. So Annette and myself are the board members. Does that sound good with everybody? Okay, so now, yeah, can I get a motion to prove that?
I'll make the motion to approve
Thanks,
all of that.
And then a second. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze, seconded by Catherine Harper to select for president Tracy Skinner, for vice president Casey Raboy, for clerk Catherine Harper, board representatives Annette Kunze and Wes Cagle. Did you do a motion to carry unanimous? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Tracy Skinner, Casey Raboy,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Yes.
All right. No, that was with it. Mhm.
To item 232.443. For consideration of approval of schedule of regular meetings and board calendar.
So the proposed calendar is here for you. We would continue to meet the third Wednesday of the month, and there are no regular meetings in July. And at any time, the board can call a special board meeting. And so that's what we would like to propose moving forward for the board meeting calendar.
So the June meetings, when would we have to do our financial meeting? Like, what's the deadline?
Yeah,
I can hear you.
We would have to post the public meeting and then have a meeting to approve it. So we'd have to have two
Mhm.
special meetings. You'd have to do it before the end of June 30th.
Okay,
So we'll coordinate to see when our public meeting was gonna be first, and I'll include the LCAP because it has to be brought in together. And
Mhm.
then we could do it a week later and then we could approve it therefore, the final
Okay.
budget for the new year.
by June 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Then do I have a motion to approve 232.443?
I'll make the motion for item 232.443.
Second it?
Casey Raboy to approve item number 232-443, seconded by Wesley Cagle. Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
That brings us to 232.444. Designate board representatives to serve on committees.
I can highlight a few things here. We have our CAST meeting, Cities and Schools Together. Our next meeting is already scheduled for February 13th. Those are at 5:30. We meet probably 3 or 4 times a year. We do not need a JPA committee any longer, so that will be taken off moving forward. Transportation meets quarterly, and those are during the day because drivers attend that. And so that's usually 10 or 11 o'clock during the day. And then our CSBA, this is, we need at least 2 board members to represent our county. And these meetings are 2 or 3 times a year. All board members are invited, but it would be nice to at least have 2. This is where we're invited to go to SCOE, and they have a guest speaker for us and usually a dinner. And so the next one is already scheduled for February 7th at 6 o'clock. There'll be a presentation on AI intelligence. And one of the student groups, one of the high schools provides dinner there in the conference room. So we would hope that the trustees that join that group would be able to attend, but again, all members can attend these special meetings in PESCO. And then Board Policy Committee.
Do you have anybody interested in anything in particular?
I liked being on the cast, but I'm willing to rotate to other, if somebody has a passion for it, but or I could be an alternate.
I'm happy with what I have. It's just that the transportation meetings are hard for me to get to because they are in the middle of my workday. So if what I'm doing is fine, and if you want to use me to consult when needed, I'm fine to stay. Or if there's someone who can do those meetings easier, it's fine.
I was going to say my schedule might most accommodate that transportation during the day meeting, so I'm happy to take that one.
I'm in the same boat with transportation, so.
Mhm.
It's a tough one.
It is.
Fine, staying with CAS, and then I can also probably do the transportation as well.
I could be an alternate for transportation if that would help.
And you know what we could do also? We could hold the transportation meetings via Zoom as well, because they're in our conference room. It's easy to do. So that way we could send you a Zoom link. So say you're on a break at work or something, we could do that to make it easier for board members to attend if you can't attend in person.
So we have transportation covered. We have cast if you're wanting to stay on. Catherine, did you want to stay as an alternate?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. And then for the Sac County,
I'm fine to stay on. I don't think I was able to attend last time, so I'm fine to stay and to try to get more of those. Unless someone really wants it.
I could be the alternate on that.
Okay.
It's kind of the same thing. It's. Time is it, the meet?
They start at 6,
They're in Mather, right?
5:30 or 6. They're in Mather, yes,
Yeah.
Sacramento County Office of Education.
Mhm.
Stockton. So,
Tracy, did you want to stay on that one as well? I forget. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, I can, if someone else wants to do it, I'm probably gonna be. The March one won't be an issue, but October might.
And we have these, they haven't been consistent on the months they're having
No.
them. Like, for example, usually it is March, but they are rescheduled. The next one's February. So they're not also going to have one in March. So it's hard to say
Great
when
to
they're
stay
going.
on, and then if something, I might be coaching in the fall.
Okay.
I most likely could do it as an alternate, or if you need another person there. Yeah, the fall is kind of a hard time though.
You and Wes both as.
Yeah, in case if he's busy during one season, maybe I'm only the fall in the evening. I would be busy, not during the other one.
Okay. And then Annette, are you still good for the board policy committee?
Yeah.
You get all that quiet? So I think we're gonna leave cast the same.
Okay.
Transportation, we have Annette and myself, and then Casey as an alternate. And then we're going to leave the county the same, with the exception of Wes and Casey will both be alternates. And then we're gonna leave the board policy committee the same. Can I get a motion to approve item 232.444?
I'll make the motion for item 232.444.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Raboy to approve item number 232.444 as described by President Skinner, seconded by Annette Coonsey. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Item 232.445, review and or consider resources that define and clarify the board's governance and leadership roles and responsibilities, including but not limited to governance standards, meeting protocols, board rules and bylaws, and other board development materials.
All right, thank you. This is just informational item. We have provided for you some information related to governance from CSBA. I think you've seen these documents before, and I think last year when we had 2 new board members come on, we held a special study session to review some of these items, and we're definitely open to do that anytime. I know we're not a new board anymore, but if you would like a study session at any time to review governance or the just policies, procedures of board doing business, we can do that. So just let us know if you would like another study session to related to these topics.
Yeah.
Okay, right now?
Brings us to board meeting protocol.
Okay, yes, I will go ahead and review our board meeting protocol. Our meeting is being recorded and it's open to the public, and it's broadcast live through Zoom teleconference. Public comments are 3 minutes per agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public comment for each agenda item to 20 minutes. Note that the board offers the public the ability to comment during the meeting via Zoom and provide comments in person at the meeting location. If the board experiences technical difficulties or the Zoom results in disruption of the meeting, the board may decide to limit or not allow further comment for the remainder of the meeting. With board consent, the board president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public comment. To make comment for Zoom, notify the board meeting assistant through the chat box feature or by using the raised hand feature in Zoom. when the agenda item is being addressed. You'll be identified by your display name in Zoom when called upon to speak. To make public comment in person, there's public comment forms over by both doors, and that would go to Ms. Bach, our board meeting assistant. And there's also an option to email public comment that can be emailed to the superintendent 24 hours before the meeting and we posted to the website. We do have one comment that is posted. The comment went to our board and it is on our website tonight. Public comment is limited to 450 words. Vote and connectivity. Each motion will be followed by a roll call vote for action items, and should a board member attend remotely and lose connectivity, the meeting will be delayed by 5 minutes, and regular meetings should be adjourned by 10:30 p.m.
Do we have any public comments?
We do not have any public comments for items not on the agenda.
That brings us to reports.
All right. We'll turn this first one over, district reading assessments. We'll turn it over to Cleo Del Toro Anguiano, our Director of Curriculum.
Thank you so much. So as you know by now, we administer the district reading assessment 3 times per year to all students in kinder through 3rd grade. We refer to this assessment as the DRA. The purpose of the DRA is to measure students' ability to blend and manipulate sounds. It measures students' knowledge of spelling patterns and sight words, and it also assesses reading fluency and accuracy. So we use the reading rope, that's the visual that you have in your packet and up on the screen. We use the reading rope to guide our work in the area of reading. The DRA measures progress on word recognition, which is the bottom portion of that rope. Part of our LCAP goal number 1 includes an increase of the DRA results by 10% each year. We measure this growth from spring to spring. The data sets included in your packet reflect the overall results for the percent of students who have met all of the DRA benchmarks or targets for the end of the first trimester only. The data sets reflect the results by school and by grade level. So it's a little hard to see from here, but if you take a look at the first data set, I would like to highlight for Greer, 3rd grade, sitting almost at 50% of the children meeting all end of the first trimester benchmarks. For Lake Canyon, I would like to highlight kinder at 100% of the children meeting all targets. Congratulations, Lake. Moringa Ranch, 75% of the children in kinder meeting all targets. The same for River Oaks, 76%. And then at Valley Oaks, 67% for 1st grade. On the next page or on the next data sets, here you have that same data, but now it's by school. And now we're looking at cohorts. If you remember, cohort is just a group of children. So we follow the group of children from 1 grade or 1 year to the next. And we're wanting to see a 10% gain with that cohort from spring to spring. Something to keep in mind when you look at this data is that the assessments are different at each grade level. And obviously the targets are different for each grade level for each trimester. So the assessments don't necessarily align or correlate, but it is a good indicator of how well students are building their skills of foundational reading. So if we take a look at Greer, and maybe for now, let's just focus on 1 grade level. Let's look at 3rd grade, because by 3rd grade, all the strands of that rope that you see should start coming together to build a skillful reader. So if we take a look at 3rd grade, and we'll start with Greer. Thank you, Kauai. At the end of last year, as 2nd graders, 49% of the children met the benchmarks. That same group or that same cohort this fall, now 47% of them met the benchmark. If you add 10% to last year's spring score of 49, you get a 59. So that is the target for that cohort at the end of the school year. For Lake Canyon, again, if we take a look at the current third grade, 32% of the children have met the benchmarks. Last year, that same group, 54% met the benchmarks, but we're still aiming for a 64% of that cohort to meet the benchmarks at the end of the year. For Marengo, last year, as a second grader, 69% of the children met the benchmarks. This fall, that same group, 51%. The target is 79%. So we're looking forward to reaching those new targets. For River Oaks, right now, the third grade is almost at 50% meeting benchmarks. Last year, they left second grade with 66% of the children meeting the benchmarks. Again, 66 plus 10% gives you that 76% as the target for the end of the year. And for Valley Oaks, 30% of the children right now are where they need to be. Last year, 74% of that same group met the benchmarks at the end of the year. And we're hoping to see 84% of those children meeting the benchmarks at the end of the year. Again, if you're probably, I'm guessing that some of you might be thinking, wow, that's a big jump. Keep in mind that a lot of growth happens in very few months, which is why we talk about attendance being so important, because the growth that we see with children, once they take off with those foundational skills, the reading really comes along. So we're not concerned about the range, from where we are now and where we need to be at the end of the year, because we still have 5 months. That's a lot of time and a lot of time for growth. Teachers are doing a phenomenal job of trying to address the needs. They're really trying to find ways to analyze that reading rope, the bottom portion again, trying to find out what is it that children really know, what is it that they don't know, and how can we help them meet those with those needs. So it is a complex, you hear me say that word a lot. It's such a complex job to try to find out what is it that a child knows and needs to be at grade level. It is incredibly complex to try to figure it out for each individual child. So with that, any questions, any thoughts? Okay, thank you. Oh, yes.
Sorry, I was waiting for others. I just had a comment and a question. The comment, I was able to get, I had requested a walkthrough of some of the scores and the testing, and I just want to say thank you, because that was super helpful to go walk through the reading rope, and I could have that dialogue and ask a lot of questions and kind of hear what the different things that were happening hands-on in the schools. So I thought that was super helpful. And I just wanted to thank the teachers, moving forward, kind of all their efforts, like you said, coming up throughout the year and the years to come. And then also, the parents, because I think the parents play a key role in reading to their children and talking to their children. So I think that can play a huge part as well. So I just want to thank any parents out there that are really taking that time to do that for the children to help impact this rope. And then my question was, and I'm sure this was in the timeline that you gave me, the winter 2024 progress, when do those scores come?
The next set?
The next set. And sorry if you said that already. Did you have winter?
It's at the end of January. So we'll bring it to you by February if we have the data sets. Keep in mind that, again, we work with children, right? And sometimes it takes a little while to assess children.
Right.
Not only that, because there's so many numbers and it's so critical that we have the numbers right. Even though testing might be done, we don't have the data finalized for you the same month that maybe the window closes. So we'll bring it to you as quickly as we can get the data out to you.
I think our next testing window will be MAP. MAP opens up January 22nd. I know, because I was put in the newsletter for
Yes, thank
January.
you.
And so we should be able to bring, well, actually, I don't know if the window closes. We might be able to bring MAP to you in February, but I don't think DRA will come again until March. Because
You
I
are
think
correct,
it's
Lois.
the end of the trimester,
Mhm.
end of February, beginning of March. So probably not DRA again until March. Yeah. Yeah.
And Annette, I want to highlight, you said something so important. The greatest thing that a parent, a family member can do at home for their children is to increase the level of oral language. The more words they know when they come to us, the better and smoother the process is for the reading group to really come together. So it's children that come to us with a wide range of vocabulary. Those are the children that just take off. They just do. So the more they talk, like you said, to their child, the more they use complete sentences, the more they pose a question and wait for the child to answer and give a descriptive response, the better prepared the children are for us to give them, you know, what they need. So yeah, you hit it right on.
And I know you mentioned the teachers from Lake Canyon Kinder, which happened to be here.
Yes.
My two youngest went through Lake Canyon Kinder and they do an amazing job. And obviously, I mean, 100%.
That's impressive.
Yes, very impressive. So
I don't think they sleep, but.
thank you.
Not to put you on the spot.
Okay. So then next we have California School Dashboard, fall 23.
Thank you. So that's me again. So the California School Dashboard provides us with information on both school and district progress on several local and state measures or indicators. Back in June, if you recall, we brought to you results for the local indicators of the dashboard as part of the LCAP. And you may remember that one of the indicators, for example, was related to the implementation of standards and instructional materials. Today, we bring to you the performance levels for our district on the 5 state indicators. The performance calculations are based on a 5x5 table that takes into account current data, well, current as of last year, compared to the previous year. So based on the difference, a performance level or color is assigned. So you need 2 sets of data to be able to calculate a performance level, which is why last year we didn't we brought to you information on the dashboard, but there were no colors because we needed 2 sets of data to be able to, again, gauge the difference between last year and the previous to then identify a performance level. So there are 5 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, red being the lowest performance level and blue being the highest level. So if we take a look at our district, and that's the data that you see at the bottom there. So for chronic absenteeism, we are yellow, suspension rate, orange, English learner progress, green, English language arts, orange, and math, yellow. If we go to the next page, thank you, Kauai. Here you can see that for chronic absenteeism, it obviously has improved. We have a decline of 18%. And I know the decline sounds like, well, we're declining. How is that better? Well, for some indicators, a decline is good rather than not. So we did decline chronic absenteeism by 18%. Our focus in math obviously is reflected with this, with these performance levels with a gain of 7 points. And we're excited to see that the progress made with our EL, especially with children at Valley Oaks. As you can clearly see, they are the only student group in the blue. So when we look at our schools, I want to highlight how excited it is to see that at a glance, you will notice more green and yellow across the district than you do the orange or the red. We added a little plus sign, and that's to indicate to you where progress has been made. Even if it's not at the color or the performance level that we want, we are seeing a positive trend. Obviously, you can clearly see all the pluses in most areas. Some schools having 4 pluses, Again, in looking at that chart, chronic absenteeism, every school has a plus. If you take a look at English learner progress, you kind of see the same, and take a look at math. Also moving in the right direction. So it's a little challenging to identify by how much, by how many children. Again, that 5x5 is extremely complicated. Each indicator has its own measurements, its own 5x5. But overall, I think you can clearly see that we are moving in the right direction. Schools are doing a really nice job of putting us back on the path after the pandemic. And again, with all those pluses, I think you should definitely be proud of the work that all of our staff and our administrators are doing at each of the sites. Any comments or questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we move on to the next item, I just want to say excellent work. Our teachers, our support staff, administrators, classified staff. Takes a lot of work to see those colors going that direction and to see the plus signs. So excellent job. We're going in the right direction.
And that brings us to goal 2. Valley Oaks Elementary School, new building.
Yes, some very exciting news. The Valley Oaks Elementary new classroom building is done. We will have, well, teachers are already been moving in, but we will have our teachers and teaching and students learning come January 8th, Monday, when we return from break in those classrooms. We've given teachers a little bit of release time this last week, a sub day to get on in there and start moving things. They're very excited. I want to thank the Valley Oaks staff for the disruption. Construction's messy, it's loud, it's dusty, it's dirty. Gayleen can attest to that. S&B James has done a great job keeping everybody safe, limiting the disruptions to as minor as possible. They've done a great job. They have finished on time. They promised us that we'd get teachers and students in there during December, during the break, and they did. They have come through. We also are bringing on some extra custodial staff during break. We have extra custodians that are going to be working on the 27th to move the big furniture, desk, chairs, tables, and things like that. So we're bringing in the extra staff needed to get everything in there. A few pictures here for you. This is the side of the building. That first picture, those 2 doors you see right there are staff bathrooms. And then there's on either side of the building are the classrooms. So there's 3 classrooms on each side. There's the landscaping has been completed as well in front of the building, in between some current portables, kind of a river walk and decomposed granite, because they're planning on putting in raised beds out there for gardens. There's irrigation. So that will be a kind of a garden area out there. And we can go ahead and, so that's a little closer of what the landscaping looks like in front of those classrooms. Entrance to one of the buildings, that is in the classroom. Whiteboards, 2 sets of whiteboards. Teachers wanted an extra wall of whiteboards, and so we've put that in, but their LCD projectors are mounted. The lighting is really awesome in the classroom. So it's a very nice, they're very nice rooms. Teachers have started moving things in. When I took these pictures, one of my favorite parts about the building is the pod, the workroom for the teachers. So this is one side of the pod, those 2 pictures on the right, lots of counter space. They have an island, a storage room there. And then if we go to the next slides, they have a hallway that goes down and connects to another pod. So they have this hallway of all of these beautiful cabinets, and a tag board. The wall on the side is a material that they can post things to. And then it leads them down to the second pod that has an island as well, and a ton more counter space and cabinets. It's just really nice. Go down to the next. So this is the other side of the building. This is the building on the blacktop side. basketball hoops are in, and once we hit spring, the weather's a little bit warmer. The striping, the lines will go down for pickleball courts and volleyball. Is that right, Galen? Volleyball, and how many pickleball courts? I think 2. So that will go in over there in that blacktop area, but just really excited to be done with that. And Valley Oaks was definitely due for a new classroom building. There's 6 classrooms. That's just another side of the outside there. I think that's it. Oh,
It looks like it turned out beautiful.
it's really nice. They did a
I'm
nice.
sure the kids and teachers will be excited to
Mhm,
come back from winter break.
mhm. Yeah.
That brings us to other reports.
All right, so the California School Board Association, the annual educational conference. I attended with Alejandra Garibay, our CBO, President Wes Cagle, and Trustee Catherine Harper attended. The 4 of us went to San Francisco for a few days and attended sessions. And so I just wanted to give everybody the opportunity, if there are any highlights or takeaways that you had from any of the sessions that you attended, to share out.
First, it was amazing how clean the city was. It was amazingly clean. The couple things that I went to that really that really stood out. Number one, I went to like a campus security type one, and the thing that really stood out is this. Well, a school in San Diego has a program called Raptor. I think we were talking about it afterwards, and what it is so when if somebody wants to volunteer and come on campus to help out, they put their driver's license up to this code reader, and they get it right there, and right there they tell you like you're good to go. It says like they were saying, like it says yes, and it says no. So it was really interesting to see that you would know right then and there that you don't have to do a whole background check. So, and I guess that school district had a shooting not too long before they put that in. So that was interesting just to know that they got a program out there that they get right away. Other thing that was really struck me that I went to a class put on by Sonoma County, and it was about declining enrollment. How the Sonoma County's really been hit hard by with the fires. They've had like 3 major fires in the last 6-7 years, and then plus with COVID, and how they've been closing schools and combining schools, and just how that whole area has been affected. Like I think they're down, if I remember right, about over 10,000 students in about the last 6-7 years. And then not too long after we were home, then Channel 3 did a big report about declining enrollment. State of California, it's like the state of California's down like over 300,000-400,000 students in the last, well, since COVID. And that it's really bad too. About the next 10 years, they're expecting like another 2.5% decrease. So, but it was really weird how Sonoma had been hit so hard. But a lot of districts that were there had the same thing. A lot of people in San Diego, LA were talking about the same thing, how they're declining enrollment, and like there a lot of people there was a handful of conference classes that were about how schools or districts are dealing with the declining enrollment. So that's a couple of main things that stood out for me.
Yeah. I can just piggyback on the safety. There were great safety sessions, probably every day. There was something, and one of the takeaways, we came back immediately. I went to one, Wes went to one, and we've already had 2 demos. We had a demo from Raptor, and we had a demo from Catapult. And I found out that a lot of districts have moved to contracting with these organizations for a complete emergency management system, not just the ID card readers, but just a way of notifying everybody and on campus if there is an emergency. So we've had 2 demos. We've also talked with the high school district because they use Catapult. And so we're getting some quotes, we're getting some estimates on how much things cost. There's, startup fees and there's annual initiation fees. Based on what we've seen so far, we probably do need to move forward with at least the use of an emergency system, something more than what we have now. I think we'll probably bring something to the board either January or February with some prices and some contracts and to get direction if you would like to move forward with something. We have heard that you want to start small with these systems. Training is involved, but it takes a lot to train your system on how to use these things. A lot of the emergency management systems would go off an app and would alert staff, whoever would download the app. Those types of things, but there's a lot of training that would be involved. If we move forward with something like that, this current year, we would first bring on administrators, training management on how to use the system, and then have a full training for teachers and support staff in August on how to use it. The high school too, they said kind of start slow. When they started it, they only brought on certain components in the beginning and then kind of added more on. But that is something that I think this day and age, we probably need to invest a little bit more in more online technology for emergency systems. And so we'll plan on bringing more to the board here in the next couple of months. That was my takeaway. And I want to thank Coolji. She got right on. I came back. I said, we need to get some demos, Catapult or Raptor. And so she did. So we've already had 2 demos.
Yeah, there was a couple really interesting sessions that I attended. So one of them was related to current court cases that are pending, having to do with student matters, having to do with Title IX. And some of the most interesting sessions were actually from the attorneys who are dealing directly with all of those issues. So it was just interesting to me to hear about a lot of these matters are still working their way through the courts. And so that was something that they would repeat often we're going to know more once the court rules on this specific issue. The other, I think, real standout for me was hearing Sal Khan speak in one of the general sessions. He's the founder of Khan Academy. And I've never heard him speak before. I could have listened to him for a very long time, but he is introducing a component of Khan Academy called Conmigo, which is it sits on top of the new Chat GTP, and it's meant to be guardrails on the new Chat GPT, and it provides an interactive experience for students there's different ways a student can seek help. And so they're not just directly connecting with Chat GPT-4, they're using the Conmigo system in order to do that. And the way that he explained it was that they really want to make these interactions for students to be ethical and safe for students. And it just makes me happy to know that they are someone with a conscience who really has a holistic picture of what's good for students and kids is in charge of this type of technology and rolling it out. So that was very interesting to me. And he demoed it right there in the session. And it's actually available for subscribers if you have a Khan Academy account, you have to pay a couple dollars each month in order to cover their Chat GPT cost. But it's very accessible and something, if you're interested in AI and how it's going to be affecting education in the future, I would recommend it.
I agree. That was a really good session.
To add to that, I agree with that. It opened our eyes. I was even downloading the app and trying it myself. And it will help teachers too with lesson plans, create them for you and give you so many examples. It was a great tool. To add to what they've said, I attended a lot of the fiscal trainings. They have several of them. There was advancing school finance and there was show me the money and then state fiscal economic outlook. So a lot of these sessions provided a perspective for us and for me to prepare for the district, especially to look at what's coming due to the delay of the filing and income taxes. What is that going to affect the district? So it helped me prepared. And I'll share more in our first interim, but what we're looking out in our multi-year projections, because I was thankful that FICMAC School Services was there to be able to share information early enough. And I'm like, this is great. I could use this and share it to the public. And so I was thankful for the opportunity to be able to grasp some information so I could help prepare budget and prepare the board and our cabinet team.
Thank you for sharing and thank you for attending the conference.
On to school calendars.
All right, so our school administrators have the night off, gave them the night off. So I'll highlight one event for each of their calendars. And I will start with Fairsight. They have a parent advisory committee meeting on the 12th of January. And then Lake Canyon, also on the 12th of January, a family bingo night, parent co-op. That's at 6 p.m. And at Marengo on Saturday, the 27th of January, a pancake breakfast. McCaffrey Middle School on the 19th, they are having an Avid winter night. What's in the afternoon at 3:30, but that's an event for the Avid students. And then River Oaks on Friday, the 26th. That's a big day. They've got a lot going on there. 5th graders are going to Staten Island. It is a Friday Sing Snow Day and family bingo night at 6. Valley Oaks on the 25th, a family math night at 6 o'clock. And then Greer is having on the 25th, they're starting at 1:30 with their English Language Advisory Committee, followed by their school site council meeting at 3 o'clock. So getting parents and community together on the 25th.
That seems like bingo nights turn into a real.
That's pretty popular right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
And that brings us to board discussion of the hybrid in-person and Zoom board meeting of education meetings.
Okay. Yeah, so since the pandemic, we have, of course, been in person when we were able to come back in person. And then we have also provided the hybrid. We've been on Zoom for all of our meetings. And we've also still allowed the public to make comments via Zoom. And so it's come up by Ed Code now, you do not have to provide Zoom. If a board trustee was attending via Zoom, then we would have to put the public link out and allow the public to attend via Zoom. So it brought up, discussion what the board would like to do. Some boards have stopped the Zoom feature and everything's in person. Others are still doing what we're doing or hybrid. There's options. The board can choose to still televise, but reduce the comments online. But it is open for discussion.
Do we know kind of on average each meeting, do we have a large number that are attending via Zoom?
We don't. For the past 3-4 months, we have about 5 to 7 people attending via Zoom.
And then I know there is some cost associated with having it open to public comment. We have to have extra staff.
We do. To televise it via Zoom, we do have extra staff. We have our tech team that works at night to help us. And then we also have an admin assistant that helps us manage Zoom from home.
So if we continue to possibly consider televising, but not allowing public comment, we could save a little bit
You
there.
could eliminate a staff member watching on Zoom
Mhm.
Our tech team would still need to be here to record it. So we would give the link out and you would be able to view at home. You just wouldn't be able to make public comment. We would not have that function or feature open. We could still have the opportunity for the community to email public comments in like we do now and post that to the website. But those are options that we could look into.
Thoughts to share?
I'm in favor of keeping us on Zoom, but disabling the public comment feature. Just, I don't think we've had, like, I've been on the board a year and I can't recall a public comment on Zoom during my time, so I think that would be the best course of action.
One thing that I just kind of thought of, I know we've had presenters on Zoom before, so then they would need to come in.
We could give them we can make them a panelist just to
Okay.
present.
And it would save us money too, because if they
They don't
come
have
out here, they'll charge us a few $1,000s.
So there would still be that option.
For just, yeah,
For
for cost savings
presenters.
for the
Mhm.
district. Correct.
Okay.
And that's one good reason to keep it recorded and keep a Zoom link, because then it is easier to allow presenters to come. We can allow them to come in and Zoom for a presentation.
And then it would still be posted as it is now on the board website, the recording.
Yes, we would just want to make sure if you want to make that change, we just want to make sure that people would understand. We'd put that out there a few different ways that you no longer are able to make public comment via Zoom. That you could email or come to the meeting.
And would they have to email prior to the meeting? Is that
Yes, it's
prior to-
24 hours.
24 hours, okay.
Mhm. Or
They
yeah.
can still come and do it live.
Mhm.
I like the solution or the ideas that are thrown out right now. Yeah, because when I brought it up last month, it was more, I'm sure everybody's heard that board meetings, city council meetings have been hijacked by fake people, and it ends up being some abusive language has been used. And that's my biggest fear, is that'll happen to us, because it just happened to our city council.
Mhm.
So the solutions that were dished out, I totally agree with.
Yeah, I think we're kind of all in agreement of leaving it
Okay.
where they can watch from home.
Yes.
But if they would like to make public comment, they can email in advance or come down.
Mhm.
And then we would still allow presenters,
Yes.
which also saves us money, because I
Mhm.
think we all know
Yeah, and they don't charge us for travel time.
coming up,
Mhm.
we're gonna have to really be trying to save where we can.
Yeah. Okay. So we
I think it would be different if there was like if we were seeing those large audiences on Zoom, then I think it would possibly justify that extra. But right now, I think with just that low attendance on Zoom, I think it seems reasonable as well.
Okay.
Board President Skinner, I have a public comment request for this subject matter. Amy Mangelli. Are you there, Amy?
I am. Good evening. My name is Amy Mangelli, and I'm a fourth grade teacher at Valley Oaks. I'm also the GEFA vice president. I had intended to say something else after I heard the comment last week about considering eliminating Zoom, but now after I've heard what you guys are agreeing to, I think that's a good compromise. I just want to be able to continue to stay connected, and so that was what I was going to talk to you about tonight, but it sounds like you're already making that choice. So thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Do we have any other public comments?
No, there are no other public comments at this time.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move forward with that change come January.
And that brings us to 232.446, board consideration of approval of the consent calendar.
I had a couple highlights from the consent calendar. We have a couple big retirements. I'm gonna get my glasses on here. So we have Sabrina Fry. She has been with the district for 22 years as a health assistant. She's been a health assistant for 22 years, both at Greer and McCaffrey Middle School. So thank her for her service and congratulations on retirement. And Yvette Odell is also retiring after 27 years, and all 27 years have been at Fairsight. She has served as an office assistant, a health assistant, and a secretary. So congratulations to both of these classified members for many, many, many years of service in our district.
That's last day is tomorrow.
Yes, I walked over and I gave her clock today and gave her a hug, and we're trying to talk her into subbing after 6 months because she can sub in multiple positions here. So. And then we do have a donation. So donation for Lake Canyon, Lowe's of Elk Grove donated plants, a shed, landscaping materials, a chicken coop, all valued at $2,500 to update the kindergarten yard.
Did they donate chickens also?
Oh, okay, there's the chickens.
Well, that's a wonderful donation.
Yeah.
They always have fun, exciting things going on at Lake Canyon.
Mhm. They're very creative with their outdoor spaces at Lake Canyon.
Can I get a motion to approve 232.446?
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232-446, seconded by Casey Raboy. Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item 232.448. Board consideration of approval of the 2024-2025 school calendar.
In collaboration with GEFA and in consultation with CSEA, a calendar for the 24-25 school year has been drafted for your review. The tentative calendar has been approved by GEFA union membership. I do want to note, if you look at the calendar on the right side, it says try days. You have try 1, try 2, and try 2 again. That's meant to be try 3, sorry.
Any big changes with this calendar compared to the calendars we're used to?
There is, so we prepared several drafts for them, and one of the conversations was, and this calendar aligns with the high school, meaning it's community parents are going to be able, it's going to help attendance. Students are going to be able to, that confusion with parents, are they off this week? Are they not here? This calendar aligns closely with exactly the high school, but we start a day later, and then we end a day later compared to them. But it's going to be something we hope to see an increase in attendance, especially those weeks that they would normally be off or days. And we hope to see that what happens next year to see the attendance helps.
Yeah, with this calendar, if the board approves it, we're starting a little earlier in August. We're starting August 8th. That is to be able to be off a week in February. We have never done that before, but that week was approved by the union, and that week off is also for the high school students. So if the board approves that, we will see how it goes this year or next year.
Yeah.
I just calendar a lot. Spring break next year is even later. It's in April, middle of April.
And that probably falls with. Yeah.
Yes, that spring break aligns with the high school as well.
Mhm.
Anyone have any? I know from what I hear from, other parents, I know they're gonna like that it aligns with the high school, but man, it seems like they're starting so early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were honestly a little surprised that the teachers voted for
Yeah.
this one. because it is starting earlier, but I guess they want a week off in February.
Everything's gonna get packed into July.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if the teachers union is on board with it, and I think the community should like that it aligns, then do I have a motion to approve the calendar for next year?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Catherine Harper to approve item number 232448, seconded by Annette Kunze. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Casey Raboy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Okay, item 232.449, board consideration of approval of variable term waiver of newly hired educator.
Thank you. As you know by now, we have had a math vacancy at McCaffrey all year that we have not been able to fill with a fully credentialed teacher. We have had the pleasure of having Miss Lisa Ratcliffe as a substitute teacher in that class. She's doing a wonderful job. We have been working very closely with her, trying to see if she qualifies for any kind of waiver, emergency credential. So we're happy to report that she does meet the requirements to obtain a variable term waiver. So we are requesting approval so that our district can submit the application on her behalf and ideally have her finish the year where she is. She's doing a really, really good job. So we're asking for board approval.
I think that's great that she's been consistent there.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve 232.449?
I'll make the motion for item 232.449.
And I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Raboy to approve item number 232449, seconded by Catherine Harper. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Item 232.450, board consideration of approval of the 23-24 first interim report.
Hi, good evening. So right now we're going to be presenting our first interim report, and it's for the period of July 1st to October 31st. This is what we would review our formative budget process. I just presented earlier unaudited actuals for last year, and now I'm going to present our financial picture for the district. I did built a lot of the budget in November, but keep in mind, I'm going to share some CSBA news and updates that I was able to get to keep you guys posted of what that multi-year looks like. So I've included some information that I have as of the December, but it was built during November. So the cost of living adjustment for 23-24 is at 8.22%. My projected for the out year is 2%, sorry. It was originally 3.94 in our adopted budget. And the reason that it's decreased is due to the deficit the state is going through. We're looking at $68 billion. And right now it's even looking lower than 2%. I used 2% based on the information provided by SCOE. It was their common message that they send out and let us know like, hey, it's going downward. It's looking like a 2, but as we know, found out in December, it's looking like a 1. And we'll get a better picture in January. But going to a 2 gave us better projections than having almost a 4% in my multi-year projections for first interim. 25-26. That number is going to change based on that deficit the state's going to, but I had to use what was available at that time, and we'll update during second interim. So this is a district enrollment and funded ADA. So I took the enrollment during our financial first interim period, so about October 31st. So that enrollment number was 3,383. due to the uncertainties we're facing, I kept a flat projection just to be conservative and to protect the district, especially due to the volatile budget. I do want you to look at the orange. That is the funded ADAs, our actual students attending the school. It looks like it's downward, even though we're increased in enrollment, and that's gonna be like, why is that happening? Because the state pays us either best of 2 years, average of 3 years, or this year was higher, it's starting to catch up to us. It's basically, we're funding at 3,224, but our actual ADA is 3,022. So we're funded 200 more than actually because of that average protecting us. And if you notice in the out year for 25, 26, our funded ADA is going to be comparable to our enrollment of that 3,089, meaning we're getting more money than we actually have students in their seats. And it will catch up to us in that multi-year projection that we presented. Pension rates do continue to increase. I did notice in the recent update in the training that I attended, right now it's projected for next year, 27.70 for PERS. It's looking like at 27.8. We'll get that closer picture during budget development, but it is costing the district more. It looks like STIRS is projected flat, but we are obligated to use our COLA to be able to keep up with these rate increases. So here's a picture of our revenue that the district receives. So we have LCFF, our local, state, and federal. So our total revenue is about $54 million. This is in combination restricted funds and unrestricted, and it includes our one-time funds. So normally once we start during the next few years, you'll see that number going down to realistically what we're funded because of that, those one-time funds that they do help our revenue. Here's our expenditures for the district. So remember our revenue was $54 million. Our expenditures are at $60 million. You're going to ask, why are we spending more money than we're actually receiving? Due to carryover from prior years, that's been sitting in the fund balance for restricted that we have to budget and actually start spending it because we have deadlines. So it's due to one-time carryover funds, and that will start balancing out on our third year because our learning loss funds must be spent by 25, 26. I have educator effectiveness. I have for another 2 years. You'll see them decrease over the next 3 years in the multi-year that is in our budget book. You'll notice that, but our expenditures will start going down as we start expensing our one-time funds. If you look at the picture, because it's combined with the restricted funds, our salaries and benefits is 75% of our total budget. So here's our unrestricted levels. I know during unaudited actuals, you saw like, wow, we had such an increase in our fund balance. Well, we started budgeting the items that were committed, and now it reflects our budget, our actual fund balance for the district for our unrestricted levels. So in our current year, we budgeted the M&O facilities building. And then in our 24-25 school year, we have the budget, our math adoption that we've been talking about, if you guys have been committing. So you start to notice it's decreasing because we're actually budgeting it in our multi-year to show that this is what it's going to be used for. So to summarize our first interim, yes, we did get an 8.22 COLA. Keep in mind, the governor, in order to fund that COLA, he used $2 billion of one-time funds, meaning he's in the red. And you'll see the projection in our outlook in the next slide. Our PERS increased by 1.31. LZFF revenue is funded at a higher amount when reality we're at 3,000. So there's a 200 gap that we're getting extra funding, but will eventually flatten out in that third year. We do have the last year of the $100,000 CLI program at Fairsight. The grant ended and this is our last year with it. Proposition 28 for the arts and music schools allocation is about $545,000. And then we received a grant for our Constance River Preserve for 308. It's divided by 4 years. Our unduplicated pupil percentage, which is our low income, it's going to be free and reduced, foster, that percentage did increase of about 1% or so for this school year. So the next slide is information that I've got recently. It's from we have FitMax, School Services, and CSBA. So the Legislative Analyst Office reports a 26 billion decrease in tax receipts from 2022 based on what they projected. Oh, we assume we're going to get all this money this year because people file their taxes. No, that delay did cause a big gap. They state revenue leads to a significant downward of $68 billion in deficit in the coming year. The question is whether to leave the prior year minimum guarantee at the June projections, which was the 107.4 billion, or take action and lower the state revenues. So depending on how they decide to balance the budget on their end, that's going to be directly impacting us, and it's going to the ability to be able to maintain our programs and student services. So Prop 98 is already carrying that deficit, as I mentioned. Yeah, we got an 8.22 COLA, and 2 billion of that is one-time funds. They didn't have money to fund that or continue to fund that. Additionally, we're getting funded based on our ADA that is not there. We're getting 200 more student in funding that in reality it is. So that gives us a picture where we need to project and prepare. COLA is projected to be as low 1%. Smaller COLA would mean the district will be reviewing our current budget in order to meet our yearly spending obligation for the multi-year projection and maintain that board policy 9% reserve. So one of the questions I get everywhere and staff is, how is it that COLA is projected to be 1% when prices are so high? Like we've seen groceries or gas and everything's high. Why is that? So the answer is simply because COLA is the rate of change from one year to the next. Irrespective of how high or low prices, that has nothing to do with it. It's the measure of how prices change rather than how much things cost. So it's that change in prices. So yes, the cost index for the goods and services and government consumes remain high, but due to the slowing economy and the inflation, the year over year change is leveling out. So to finalize our first interim, the district in our current multi-year projection is able to meet all our financial obligation due to the one-time federal and state funds and COLA. The district continues to monitor enrollment in ADA. Negotiations are still unsettled. And priority is ensuring safe and secure learning environments to continue to be priority for our schools. And it involves investment in that math adoption that we've been talking about, having security measures that was mentioned earlier, our facilities and upgrades to ensure the students and staff can learn and work in a safe and supportive environment. And do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's not what you want to report.
But it's good it gave us a picture to prepare the board, to prepare the public of what's coming. And then second interim will have the update on the January governor's January budget, and we're going to go on January 17th. So we'll give you more details of what the reality looks like.
We've been fortunate to have the influx of money the last few years, and you know, we've had a reserve of 20% almost for the last few years, and you can see it's finally coming to the time where we're getting back down to reality. And so we just need to be really careful with that reserve level because, you know, we could get to where we might have mid-year cuts. If that COLA really looks like it's going to be 1% or less in the next few years. You know, I don't want us to ever get back to where we were 3%, barely the 3%. And because then you're looking at furloughs, you're looking at reducing staff when you can't maintain a 3% reserve. And so thankfully we have the reserve now, because I think we're seeing the next few years are going to be difficult fiscally.
I was just gonna say, it's at the conference too was interesting because we got to hear directly from the state treasurer, Betty Yee. I can't remember the other lady's name. Heck, yeah. But it was great to listen to those two ladies speak, and their knowledge and just to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, what's coming down the pipeline. It was so. I wanted to add that in there.
Can I get a motion to approve item 232.450?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze to approve item number 232.450, seconded by Tracy Skinner, Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Casey Raboy,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Item 232.451, board consideration of approval of resolution number 10, providing workers' compensation coverage for volunteers.
I'm still here. So the next resolution is I went to our school insurance meeting and they were talking about in order to be able to cover volunteers, they would like to see a board resolution approved, letting them know that in order to get coverage through our SI insurance company, they wanted to get a copy of it. And it's to protect the district for higher liability. We don't want them to sue us directly and affect the general fund when we do have this insurance company that could help us and support us. If things do come up or accidents happen, we have a company supporting us. So this is to provide that resolution to them, that way we're covered.
Can I get a motion to approve item 232.451?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232.451, seconded by Casey Raboy, Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Item 232.452, board consideration of approval resolution 11, annual and 5-year findings reports for reportable developer fees for fiscal year 22-23.
So this is a report that we were reporting to cover the developer fee collections and expenditures within the past fiscal year. So we'll be reporting from 22-23. What this report contains is the types of fees collected, amount collecting, beginning of and ending account balances, the interest and details about how the funds were expensed, and it disclosures of any interfund or loans, if any, and in amounts of any refunds issued. On the report, if you go to page 3, and some things I just want to highlight is number C, the beginning and ending balances of 22-23. So in our developer fee account, we started with $1.5 million. The ending balance was $1.2 million, but keep in mind that we have in section, we collected in fees $697,000 and we earn in interest $50,000. What we did with those funds and to spend those Valley Oak classrooms that were presented earlier, they're beautiful. The project, approximately 20% of the project during June 30th was completed, but it was just completed in December. So we paid only 20%, but the total cost of this project was about $850,000. And we were able to do this because of developer fees. And we did something great. I think the classrooms look amazing. Something that I just wanted to point out, but I can answer any questions. If you could also see on the figure 1, the last page, we do have a fund balance. So the question is, okay, what are we going to do with the fund balances? So the district is looking at Valley Oaks and Greer portables to replace them. And the projects are expensive, so we're hoping to use up the funds. It costs probably about $1.8 million to make some replacements there. We're looking at completing that by spring of 2026. So this is a picture of what we would do with the funds to help improve our facilities.
I think it's nice to see where that money went, what it got us.
Yeah. Developer fees are not part of our general budget. So it's very restricted on how you can use developer fees. And so It's really for facilities.
Can I get a motion to approve 232.452?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion from Catherine Harper to approve item number 232.452, seconded by Wesley Cagle. Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Casey Raboy,
Aye.
Annette Kunze.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
232.453, board consideration of approval of the agreement among the City of Galt, Galt Joint Union High School District, and Galt Joint Union Elementary District regarding the school resource program.
All right, thank you. So we currently, the City of Galt and the Galt Police Department currently provide two school resource officers. One is for the elementary district and one is for the high school district. We do share when we need to. Right now, each of us, the three of us, pay 33% of one school resource officer, which for us, the district is approximately $51,000, our share for that. And we've had that agreement in place for quite a while. What we would like to propose, and we have talked about this last year, the need for an additional school resource officer, a third SRO that we would share with the high school district. What's really nice about this is that the city has received some funding or a grant. I'm sorry. They have a grant and they are willing with this agreement over the next 3 years, they are willing to put almost $42,000 of their grant funds towards hiring an additional SRO. So if we go forward with this, the remaining balance would be shared between the city and both districts at a 33%. And that would be approximately $37,000 for us. And so we currently do have this in the budget because we talked about it last summer. It's just kind of taken this long to find out if the city was going to get this grant money and just get things rolling. And so there is an agreement that would be signed by our school district, the high school district, and the city as well. It is general fund, additional $37,000, but it is in the budget.
I know there's been talk of this for a while, and for it to finally get to the point where they have that grant and can help, I think it's
Yeah.
important.
It's a 3-year agreement. And so once those grant funds run out, then the cost would be increased for the district and the city. And at that point, we can determine if we can fiscally support the third SRO.
I just had a comment. I think it would be neat. I don't know if they would be willing, but to have the SROs come sort of share their experiences and their goals and philosophies working with the students. So I don't know if that's something they would be willing to do.
Yeah.
I'd be interested for
Yeah,
sure.
we did have our school resource officer that attended a CAST meeting a couple months back. But I think if we talk to them ahead of time and work out their schedule, they would definitely be willing to come to a board meeting and talk. Officer Walters has been great. We've done something different with his schedule. He's been great, flexible about visiting all of the school sites. In the past, our school resource officer has been mainly at McCaffrey, going to the other sites when needed, mainly for emergencies. But he comes to all of the elementary sites now more on a regular basis, is out there sometimes playing basketball with the kids. Trying to really build that relationship that he's proactive. He's there as support. He's not there just when kids are in trouble. They've started their character counts program again. And so that's great. He will be supporting that as well. But I know he would love to come and talk to the board about what he does at the schools.
I'll make the motion to approve 232.453.
A second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Tracy Skinner to approve item number 232.453, seconded by Annette Kunze. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Casey Raboy,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Item 232.454, board consideration of approval of the MOU between the CSEA and the Galt Joint Union Elementary District pertaining to a salary increase for the accounts payable clerk position.
All right. So through a parity study, we have worked with our classified union. looking at the salary for the accounts payable clerk. We've looked at surrounding districts and a parity with districts that are like us and found that the salary is lower than it should be for the work compared to other districts as well. And the rest of the fiscal team, the fiscal department, they are already at the AA range. And currently the accounts payable is at Y. And so we're proposing to the board to bring that AP clerk to the AA range, the way the rest of our business department is. We have an MOU, CSEA has approved it. It's approximately $4,000 of an increase for this change.
Thank you. Any comments? Can I get a motion to approve 232.454?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Wesley Cagle to approve item number 232.454, seconded by Casey Raboy, Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
232.455 for consideration of approval of MOU with CSEA and Galt Joint Union Elementary District pertaining to the creation of the fiscal analyst position.
All right, and this is again in collaboration with our classified union. We had a parity study. We currently have a budget technician in our fiscal department. We have learned that what our budget technician does is actually at a higher level and should be classified as a fiscal analyst. And so we've looked at the current job description for a budget tech compared to a fiscal analyst in other districts, and we have a new job description for you that actually now incorporates what our budget technician has been doing for the last few years that is really outside of her scope of work and outside of the salary that she's currently on. So we do agree with CSEA. We recommend to the board to approve a new job description position that would be a fiscal analyst. If the board approves this, we would not have both. At this time, we don't need a budget technician and a fiscal analyst. We would propose that the budget technician in our district would take over for the fiscal analyst. If we ever to really grow with kids, say 200, 300, 400 kids, maybe at some point we might need both. But right now we don't. There is an MOU that the union has approved this. The increase would be $7,700. So for a new salary schedule, this position would be it's a new level. It is attached for you. What did we call it? The position is currently at AA, and we added a DD to the classified salary schedule, and that's what we would propose for a fiscal analyst in our district. So again, it is only $7,700 because we would not hire a budget technician in addition to this position.
Thank you, Lois.
And that would be for this year?
Yes, yeah. Based on formality, if the board approves this, we would have to post and give opportunity to CSEA employees first, internal in our district to apply.
Can I get a motion to approve 232.456?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. I have a motion from Annette Kunze to approve item number 232.456, seconded by Catherine Harper. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Tracy Skinner.
It was 455, right?
Oh, did I?
5-6.
Oh, no,
Or I'm sorry, 5-5.
555. You're
Yep.
right. Thank you. 232.455. And Tracy Skinner,
Aye.
Casey Raboy.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Okay. Now for 232.456. oh, sorry, board consideration of approval of the board policies and administrative regulations listed below.
All right, so last month we had our first reading and our cabinet team gave a summary of the changes to these policies, and we had a brief discussion and board comment that's noted in our minutes. And so now it is an action item for you.
Does anyone have any? No, we covered it last time. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve 232.456?
I'll make the motion for item 232.456.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Casey Raboy to approve item number 232.456, seconded by Tracy Skinner. Wesley Cagle,
Aye.
Annette Kunze,
Aye.
Catherine Harper.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries unanimously.
Why do we have any public comments?
There are no requests for public comment.
Any? I think we could maybe add the SROs.
Sure. It's a pending agenda item, SRO presentation.
I did want to add, I was looking through my phone because I took notes when we were at the conference and I forgot to mention that I believe you were there, Catherine, when they talked about calkids.org.
Mhm.
And I never heard of it. And I don't know if I've just got blown over my head and just never paid attention. But it's a program, the state has like 10 million, $20 million in a program. So any child in the school district that is falls under the free and reduced lunch, they can go to calkids.org and fill out the form, and they get like $500 for a bank account to start an account.
A college,
Then-
college or trade school. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you could get more if you're like a homeless, as well as with the free and reduced. So you can get up to like $1,000.
Yep.
And it's a program of, it's offered to any student in the state of California. It's fully funded through the.
Qualifies for, yeah. that-
whoever
If
qual-
you're foster youth, I think there's even
Yeah.
more there. Just, yeah,
Okay, we'll look into that
check it
and
out.
get out some information to our parents. We could put it in a newsletter, push out the information. So yeah, we'll look into that.
I have a question about the facilities report. I know that there was a facilities survey going on. I was wondering when that would be ready.
Yes, so right now, the facility survey is at the level of school site councils, leaderships, and ELAC committees. We did present it at our DAC meeting last week as well, and our DLAC meeting. And so it's open. We're asking for feedback between now and about middle of January. Some of our school sites were not able to hold a school site council meeting during December. And so we want to make sure that all the sites have had an opportunity to have a school site council and an ELAC meeting. So probably about mid-January. So possibly you might be able to report back in February.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We will adjourn.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I knew you were gonna.
When I was,
Yeah,
at
that's
the-
great.